Alrighty, welcome back everyone. Scarland here bringing you a new Neverwinter video. Today again we are on the preview server, and as you can see by the title of the video, we're going to be diving into the first round of the Warlock changes. Of course, everything is subject to change. As always, we are on preview server. So if they make any more adjustments to these, I'll try to keep everything up to date as I can. So today we're specifically going to be looking at the Hellbringer. Now, right now it is early preview cycle. We still have several weeks to go, so things can be tweaked and adjusted. Just some overall general thoughts and opinions. They've pushed Warlock to a degree where I'm becoming more content by the day. In my own personal opinion, I think Warlocks can actually rival some of the DPS classes now in the game. However, they still need some minor tweaks here and there. So it's not perfect, and I don't honestly think it's ever going to be perfect. However, at least they're making an effort to push it in the right direction. We got a lot of our suggestions were taken into consideration, and it looks like they've made it into the game. So if we look specifically, we're on just a trash can tune right now. We're not on my normal preview account, so we're not level 80. If we look at it overall here, we're going to try to compare it to what's live via preview. So only some things have changed. For instance, Eldritch Blast has not changed. This is now called Dark Helix, this at will. This is the one that used to be called Dark Spiral Charge. However, other than the name change, nothing has changed. It's all the same magnitude damage. If you have 3 stacks of this, it goes up to 285 magnitude, which is huge. A lot of people sleep on this at will, to be honest. I sprinkle it in single target every once in a while, but not. It depends on the dungeon, honestly. But a 285 magnitude at will that you can replenish fairly often, especially in AoE situations, it's not horrible. Hellish Rebuke, again, I don't believe anything has really changed here. Literally all the same magnitude, DOT, etc. And then finally we have Hand of Blight. Again, nothing really changed with the at-wills here. Pretty much all the same other than the name change. So as we move into the encounter powers now, we're looking at Arms of Hadar. Again, nothing changed with Arm of Hadar. Unfortunately, Arms of Hadar is one of those encounters that I would like to see tweaked, altered, buffed, whatever the case may be. It's not in the current meta. No one's out here using Arms of Hadar. It's literally a wasted slot for an encounter ability. Even in an AoE situation, it doesn't make sense. There's other things that make more logical sense to use over Arms of Hadar currently. So it's one of those things where it's like, we're trying to balance all these classes. Well, every class has 10 encounters per Paragon, right? So it's like, we're only using certain select encounters. I would like to see some of these get either changed completely or buffed or, whatever the case may be. So moving right along, now we have Vampiric Embrace over here. Again, nothing really changed other than the fact that a lot of the tooltips got cleaned up for the most part. Now, this used to give you a damage shield, so it might be confusing at first because it says absorbs damage dealt as hit points. I haven't really deep dived into thoroughly testing everything yet. I haven't run any act logs. I haven't really deep dived into anything yet. I don't know if this is still given actually a temp shield or not. Because the Curse Consume is it doubles the hit points absorbed. So on the live servers, the Vampiric Embrace was kind of mediocre at best. The lifesteal wasn't bad, but the temporary hit points that it gave you was just not worth the time or effort. So again, we have another encounter power that is not being utilized in the game because it just doesn't make sense to. There's other things to utilize. So I don't know. It's 275 magnitude with a life still mechanic on it, but at the end of the day, there's just other better things to use. Now, Blades of the Vanquished Army is one of the encounters that got the most changes. It got buffed to a degree, and it also got some mechanical changes that I personally don't like. Now, other Warlocks seem to like the new mechanics. Me being a console player, I just don't like the mechanics specifically for console, because the targeting system on console is way different than the targeting system on PC. So, what I'm referring to is Blades of the Vanquished Army can now be cast on someone else, if you so choose. If you want to cast it on yourself, you look toward the ground, or if no one's around you, then you're good to go. However, you can cast it on, for instance, the tank, and the tank is going to get a 5% damage reduction. So it says reduces the damage taken by target party member or yourself by 5 seconds. So this is now targetable. It also still has a 6-second duration. However, they cut the amount of time down. So, and they increased the overall magnitude as well. So they kind of balanced it to a degree. Like I said, a lot of Warlocks seem to be liking the changes. I like the overall changes to it. You're going to be doing less hits. I think you only hit 3 times with Blades now, but it also does 100 magnitude damage for those 3 hits. So on the live servers, for instance, when I'm running a lightning enchantment and I use Blades of the Vanquished Armies, and everything on my screen just explodes with damage because Blades was hitting for however many times, well, the amount of hit times has now decreased. It's like a total of literally 3 hits now from Blades of the Vanquished. So we have to weigh the pros and the cons. Yes, it's doing more damage now, but it's doing less hits. So you have to factor in the Bowthorn with that. The Bowthorn really shines the more hits you're doing. We have some internal discussions right now. Is the Bowthorn still going to be best in slot, or are we going to migrate back to the Vorpal? We're not sure yet. We're still going through testing. Also, they simply took the 5,000 deflect off of here. So there was 5,000 deflect on here, and they just gave it a raw percentile value of now you're going to take 5% less damage, you or whoever you cast it on. So it is what it is. You still have to be close, etc. And it also deals 50% more damage to cursed enemies as well. So they changed the curse synergy. Currently on the live synergy, or currently on the live servers, the curse synergy is Blades will fling themselves at targets affected by your curse. That's no longer the case. These things aren't going to start flying out left and right and hitting random cursed enemies. Now, cursed enemies simply just take 50% more damage, which is a very big number. Alright, when we look at buffs and debuffs in Neverwinter, everything has low percentile values. So saying something that's going to do 50% more damage, they increase the damage, the overall magnitude is now 100. It used to be 25 per blade. So now they just gave a raw, static 100 magnitude. It hits 3 times essentially, and if you hit cursed targets, you're going to do 50% more as well. So, pros and cons to Blades. I have personal feelings on Blades, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and take a look at Hadars. I don't think any changes were done to Hadars, right? Like I said, they cleaned up a lot of the tooltips. They're trying to make them more transparent for what they actually do. So the magnitude is still the same. It's still 230 Hadars. I believe we're still going to actually use Hadars in our single target rotation because it still does spawn to Soul Puppet. So we'll get into that later. Let's go ahead and look at Dread Theft. Again, I don't think any changes here other than the fact that they cleaned up the tooltip again, right? It's still, the curse synergy still, refreshes the duration of your curse, blah, 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 blah. The thing with Dread Theft is that you can't do anything while you're channeling Dread Theft. I would actually like to see this increase in damage, and they didn't change it. It's currently 395 magnitude on the live servers right now. They didn't increase it. It lasts 6 seconds. Well, I can do a lot of stuff in 6 seconds. So if you want me to start using Dread Theft, you have to be giving me a reason to use Dread Theft. And right now, there simply isn't. a long time ago, back in the day before Mod 16, Dread Theft actually had a hidden feature that would provide a debuff on mobs. As far as I know, that isn't in the game anymore. As far as I know, so there's just no reason to use Dread Theft. It's 6 seconds. You can't cast anything else, and yes, it does hit hard currently, 395. But you have to factor in how many encounters and at-wills can I spam in 6 seconds. It's going to outweigh the magnitude of Dread Theft alone. So if they want to put that penalty in where you can't do anything else while actually casting Dread Theft, then I would actually like to see this like almost doubled. Not as quite much magnitude as a daily, for instance. Most of the dailies are like 800 to 1,000. So you can't really have the encounter pushing 1,000, I don't think. But why not make it 700? 750? There has to be big boy DPS coming out of Dread Theft, because right now it doesn't make any logical sense to use it, because you can't do anything while you're channeling the ability. So that's my opinion on Dread Theft. Again, it's another one of those encounters that just simply top-end Warlocks aren't using. I still see, Warlocks running around using it, and I just shake my head, but you can't help everyone. So, at current endgame meta, nobody's out here using Dread Theft. So, Fiery Bolt. Let's have a discussion about this, because me and some other Warlocks have been discussing how bad Fiery Bolt really is in the grand scheme of things. I use it personally in certain situations on the live servers, in certain dungeons. I also use Killing Flames as the replacement in an AoE situation. And the problem is, now nothing has been changed with this. Nothing at all. This is what we have on the live servers right now. The problem with this is that you fling a ball of flame that explodes upon hitting your target, dealing half damage to the targets within 15 feet. The half damage is the biggest downfall to Fiery Bolt. So if there's 3 mobs on my screen, I fire my bolt. It hits the initial target for maximum DPS. However, the 2 targets next to it only take 50% of that hit. That's the downfall with Fiery Bolt. Fiery Bolt needs to be a strong hitting AoE. It needs to be looked at on Cryptic side of the things, and they need to either increase the damage, get rid of the 50% deduction on it, because we have very limited options to use for an AoE situation, and Fiery Bolt is one of those things. I shouldn't have to use Killing Flames, which is basically a single target encounter, in my AoE rotation. I shouldn't have to do that. Fiery Bolt needs to be brought up to its full potential. They don't even need to increase the magnitude. I mean, hell yeah, increase it. I would love to. I'd want as many buffs as I possibly can. I've been playing a Warlock for 5 years. Give me all of the buffs. But realistically, you don't have to touch the magnitude. The only downfall is the 50% spread damage. That's what ruins this encounter. However, that's what we have to work with. So we use it and we cry about it. But they're doing balancing changes right now. It's still early preview cycle. There's no reason the developers can't go back through this and adjust what they need to adjust. Moving on, we got Curse Bite. Curse Bite is a thing of the past. Here is another encounter ability that simply no one is using. And it is what it is. The problem with Curse Bite is it's not affected by your cooldowns because it has 2 charges. To be completely honest, I would like to see the magnitude go to 300 in just one single cast. That way it can be affected by your encounter cooldowns. You don't have to mess around with managing the 2 charges of it. And it is what it is. It's forcefully rip curse out of our target. So anything that has curse on it, you simply hit your Curse Bite, bada bing, bada boom, and it explodes. And you get 2 stacks of this. I would like to see this utilized more, but it needs tweaked. It's not being utilized anymore because, again, we have other things that just surpass this damage. This not being affected by your cooldowns is what makes it bad. Increase the magnitude to like 300, maybe even 350. Make it a single cast. and keep the ability. Anything that has a curse just destroys, you know? That way we can not only use it for single target if we so chose, because it doesn't have any synergy or anything, which we'll get into when we talk about the new feats. So that way we can use Curse Bite in our single target rotation to spawn a soul puppet. And it's also getting our encounter cooldowns. The magnitude is good enough to use for single target, but it's also a valid AoE because, I mean, we could spread our curse very easily, hit one button, and watch things explode. Moving right along, here we go. Infernal Spheres. Now, they tried, guys. They legitimately tried to rework Infernal Spheres. And it's just not there. No one is still going to use this. It's so sluggishly slow, and it's just, the mechanics are not good. So, the problem here... Oh, you guys are hearing something nasty, aren't you? Stop. Look at these fucking losers, dude. Trying to film a video, and we got freaking losers, bro. That's what I get for filming a video in the Enclave, right? Hopefully you guys didn't hear all that nonsense. Did they follow me? Did I lose them? I think I actually did lose them. They're like hunting me down right now. I think I actually lost them. There's a little bonus for you. I mean, I could hear them in the background literally just spamming me with their mouths. Infernal Spheres, guys. They tried. They tried. They increased the magnitude by 10. Currently on live, it's 40 per sphere. Now it's 50 per sphere. And it has an added effect. Increase your damage by 5%. Now, I've already tested this to a degree. And it's too slow. It doesn't deserve a slot in my loadout. It has a very long cooldown. Now they increased the cooldown on it. It has a magnitude of 350 when you double tap it. If you're not familiar with Infernal Spheres, you cast Infernal Spheres, it summons balls around you, and then you can double cast it again, and it will explode those balls on you in your radius. Anything in your radius takes the magnitude damage. So, just take it out of the game. Just completely... Dude, these kids are annoying. Just completely, literally remove it out of the game. And that way you have the opportunity to develop something new and something fresh. Right? I mean, they tried. They even added a 5% raw DPS increase to it. However, it just doesn't fit in any of our rotations. I'm not going to sacrifice... We only get to use 3 encounters, guys. I'm not going to sacrifice one of my normal encounter abilities for something that is sluggishly cast, and the whole double casting mechanism is kind of bad. I don't know what they can do to rework it any more than what they've already tried to do. I say just scrap it. Scrap the whole entire encounter ability, and then just make something new. Develop something new. Would be my opinion on it. Next, we have Killing Flames. No changes here. We still have the stupid mechanic where it's 500 magnitude to 750 magnitude, and you do more magnitude damage as your target's health diminishes. It's a horrible mechanic. I've been saying for years how they need to remove this mechanic. Killing Flames is our crowning jewel encounter ability. Soul Scorch is a close second, and Killing Flames is pretty much our bread and butter. Dude, did these guys actually find me? How did they find me, dude? I'm not friends with any of them. It's fucking Malbot. Look at these fucking losers. Like, seriously. Well, congratulations, Malbot, Skunk, Harlequin, and you Mad. They're all, on YouTube now. GG. How did they find me? To be honest, how did they find me? I don't think I'm... Oh, you know what? I think I'm in their alliance. Is that what it is? I think I'm in their alliance, chat. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everyone watching this on YouTube that I have to deal with this. This is what happens. This is what happens, you know? Trying to film a video. Killing Flames, let's talk about it. Killing Flames is absolutely ridiculous how it's set up. On the live servers, my Killing Flames will hit for 100,000 or it'll hit for 1 million. You know? My hardest hitting Killing Flames currently has been 1.4 million. Now compare that to the other DPS. We have clerics out here doing 8 million to 10 million Prophecy of Dooms. We have rogues hitting dailies for 8 million. We have wizards hitting ice knives for 4 to 8 million. Like, I just don't... I mean, you can't compare it. You literally can't compare it, right? And it sucks. So they're trying to bridge that gap there to a degree, but when we have our hardest hitting ability, literally our hardest hitting ability of Killing Flames, and it's so unreliable, this is the perfect opportunity to just remove that. Remove that mechanic out of the game. So instead of doing 500 to 750, just nerf it a little bit. 700 magnitude damage, period. Doesn't matter what the target's HP is, you know? Like, I just don't understand. Why do we still have this mechanic in the game? It's so unreliable in DPS. Other than that, it hasn't been changed. Same thing with Hellfire Ring. Nothing has been changed on Hellfire Ring. As far as the dailies go, I don't think anything has changed on the dailies. We got 900 Soul Siphon. They changed the name of this, right? This is a Cursed Souls, but it's still the same effects, right? Added effect Curse, added effect Summons a Soul Puppet. It's 900 magnitude. We use this all the time on our AoE rotation. Tyrannical, or I'm sorry, Brood of Hadar, also I don't think has changed. Nothing with the dailies has changed, I don't believe. We have Flames here. Also, nothing has changed. It looks like they, again, worked on the overall tooltips and what they do. We have Gates of Hell here. Again, nothing really changed. And then Tyrannical, also, nothing changed. Look at the class features very quickly. I don't think very many things have changed here. Maybe one. I think one has maybe changed. Nothing has changed with Flames. Dark's One's Blessing is the one I wanted to look at, because I think they did change Dark One's Blessing. So on live, it's whenever a target affected by Curse dies, you generate 1 Soul Spark and heal for 1% of your maximum HP. So now, whenever you kill an enemy, you generate 6 Soul Sparks and heal for 5% of your maximum HP. So Dark One's Blessing actually got a buff. I don't know if we're actually going to use this, but it did get buffed. So maybe in an AoE situation, I'm not sure yet. Because I mean, we're still going to use Dark Prayers, most likely. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, we haven't done very much legitimate testing as of yet, so... but this did get buffed. Now we have Shadow Walk. Again, I don't think anything has changed here. It's still 10% movement speed, yada, yada, yada. ACC, or I'm sorry, what is this? Dust to Dust. Nothing changed. Raw 5% damage. Deadly Curse, again, nothing has changed here either. 25 magnitude. Like, in my opinion, a lot of these things should have been changed, man. They should have been tweaked, especially Flames. Flames in the Empowerment is 3% DPS. That's it. That's all it is. 3% DPS. It's trash. It's trash. Why would you use Flames of the Empowerment when you could just simply use Dust to Dust for 5%? Right? I just don't understand some of what they were going for when they did these Mod 16 changes to begin with. And now here we are coming up on Mod 19, and we're still adjusting classes. No Pity, No Mercy, I don't think has been changed either. Dark Prayers, no major changes. And then ACC, no changes. Now let's get into the build down here, because this is where the most changes have happened, and this is where you're going to see the Warlock gain like 20% more damage than what we're doing on live, if not even 25 to 30% more damage. And it's all in the first column. Double Scorch. If you didn't know what Double Scorch currently on live does, its Soul Scorch damage is increased by 10%. The damage over time, not the initial hit. The DOT is 10%. Absolutely horrible. It equated to like 200 damage a tick. It was horrible. It was horrible. Now, Double Scorch does an additional 9 magnitude damage per Soul Spark. So if you don't know the actual mechanics of Soul Spark, I believe one Soul Spark hits for 9 magnitude, period, right? I'm trying to find it. I know it's here in the tooltips. Is it under... I thought it was right here under Soul Spark. Is it not? Is it under Soul Scorch? Is there a Soul Scorch one? Where's the Soul Scorch? Here it is. Soul Scorch, which is your tab ability, right? You expend at least six Soul Sparks to blast a foe. It's 9 magnitude base per Soul Spark. By taking this, it increases another 9 magnitude. So now, every Soul Spark that cast is 18 magnitude. That's huge. That's huge compared to what we have on the live servers currently. Remember, Double Scorch literally was 10% damage over time increase. It literally equated to like 200, 300, 400 damage a tick extra. It was horrible. Now here's the conundrum. They matched it with Power of the Nine Hells. Now Power of the Nine Hells on current live servers, its daily powers now grant 12 Soul Sparks on use. I can't believe these guys found me again. These guys actually found me again. Oh, they're in the same guild, that's why. Well, there's nothing I can do about this. I'm sorry. Sorry, YouTube fam. Sorry, YouTube fam. You have to deal with it. I can't help it. I'm famous. Literally can't help it. I'm famous. So, whatever. You know what? I could probably turn down the in-game volume. We'll just turn it off, right? And then you can't hear it. It's only on 6%. Hopefully you weren't able to hear it anyway, I guess. There. Now it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be able to hear their shenanigans. I apologize, YouTube. It's what happens when you're famous, guys. It's what happens when you're famous. So now, they paired it with Power of the Nine Hells. Power of the Nine Hells on live servers right now, its daily powers grant you 12 Soul Sparks on use, which isn't horrible. Now they've changed it to grant your encounter powers without Curse Consume or Curse Synergy the ability to summon a Soul Puppet. So this will ramp up our Soul Investor now if you match it with Soul Investment, or Risky Investment, or Soul Investor. So now, a single target ability, like let's just use Fiery Bolt for instance, it has no Curse Synergy, it has no Curse Consume, so anytime I cast Fiery Bolt, it's going to summon a Soul Puppet now, which if you're taking Risky Investment, you know that's going to give you a stack of Soul Investor. So, same thing with Killing Flames. Killing Flames is now going to spawn a Soul Puppet, even though it says, the added effect for Killing Flames is when you kill something, it spawns a Soul Puppet. That's irrelevant now. Because now if you have Power of the Nine Hells, you're going to spawn a Soul Puppet here. Now, the downfall is that we are kind of still leading toward Blades of the Vanquished for single target. However, maybe we'll change to Hellfire Ring. Even though Hellfire Ring is not very good, we might use Hadar's Grasp, Killing Flames, and Hellfire Ring here. All for single target. So Hellfire Ring, Hadar's Grasp, Killing Flames. All three of those will now spawn Soul Puppets if you take Power of the Nine Hells. So it just in one rotation, you could have your 3 stacks of Soul Investor already. Your next rotation, you could have all 5 stacks. And that's huge. Compared to what we have on the live servers right now, we all know, I've complained enough about it, how slow it takes to ramp up risky investment. And the problem is that they also nerfed risky investment a while ago, right? Risky investment used to be a whole lot more damage. And now I think it's, what, 20% overall or something? 4 times 5, 20%. So, yeah. So we have some decisions to make here. Do you want your Soul Scorch to hit like a truck? Because it will hit like a truck with this. Or do you want to start stacking Soul Investor super fast? This is a very hard decision. It's going to come down to the content that you're currently doing and what's working best for you, is what it comes down to. I would have liked to see them not stack this and put this somewhere else, for instance. But that's just me personally. Now we actually have legitimate choices in the game where they're both valid options, but now you have to decide which one you're going to want. I'm glad to see that. I wish they were all like that. Unfortunately, they're not, because, I mean, we move right into Parting Blasphemy that hasn't changed, and it's still dog shit then. No one's going to take Parting Blasphemy when you could just take Warlock's Curse and deal 12% more damage. So they need to take this philosophy that they've done here, with both of these being valid options, and do it across the board for every class. Because right now we still have a certain meta, right? This is the only major change here. On Parting Blasphemy, Warlock's Curse, nothing's changed. Risky Investment and Soul Desecration is the one where your Soul Puppet just never despawns. Again, no brainer here. You're taking Risky Investment. Creeping Death, now Critical Strikes. I don't think it says that here. So Creeping Death is huge now. Creeping Death, now Critical Strikes, guys. That's huge. We haven't done internal testing yet. I'm hoping that now Creeping Death might actually proc with the Owlbear. That would be absolutely amazing if it did. However, I don't think it's going to, but we can dream. So Creeping Death is still the same. And Executioner's Gift is still the same. It's 20% more damage, but they buffed Creeping Death so much that Creeping Death is worth taking over Executioner's Gift. Again, we have Executioner's Gift is the same mechanic that's on Killing Flames. Your powers deal up to 20% more damage as your target's health diminishes. No. Don't give me limitations like that. No one's ever going to use this. That's why no one currently ever uses this. It is what it is. Make the changes. Make these all valid. Finally, we have Soulspark and Wrath for Souls. Nothing has changed. One is every time your Soul Puppet attacks, your encounters are reduced by half a second. So every 2 swings your Soul Puppet does is 1 full second encounter cooldown. Then you have Soulspark Recovery. Again, hasn't changed. Every 6 Soulsparks you spend, you gain 1 second encounter cooldown. So those are the overall changes currently. Again, early preview cycle. I'll try to keep it updated as much as I can. We will also do a separate video on all the healing changes. All the healing changes are even more in depth. I don't even know how long this video is. We had interruptions. I thank you guys for watching. Leave me comments below on your own suggestions for what the hell you want to see on the Warlock, because they're actively making changes on it. Now is the time to voice your opinion. They listen to us with some stuff. They honestly put an effort in to try to make some encounters relevant, but they didn't quite hit the nail on the head. And again, just to reiterate, we have a lot of encounters that needs some work done to it, because we're going to be using the same meta. The meta that we have in-game currently in Mod 18 is going to be the same one in Mod 19, other than this one change right here in the feats, and that's going to depend on the content that you're running. So that's all for DPS. The huge win here is Creeping Death now critically strikes. That's a huge win. Soul Investor, we now have the opportunity to get all 5 stacks very quickly if we choose, unless you want to go the Soul Scorch route and just pump out more DPS overall. That's up to you. But like I said, it still needs work. It's not perfect. The changes they've made right now will let us compete with some DPS classes, but they need to get those other DPS classes balanced as well. My own opinion is that clerics, Prophecy of Doom, they shouldn't be hitting for 8 to 10 million, period. Even the rogues hitting for 8 million shouldn't be happening. You have wizards doing 4 million, 5 million, 6, all the way up to 8 million ice knives. I've seen it. I've seen the screenshots. 8 million damage with an ice knife. And compare that to the Warlock DPS. We don't have a lot of direct damage abilities. The ones that we do are Killing Flames and Soul Scourge. Killing Flames, again, I can say it a million times, is very unreliable. And the hardest Killing Flames that I've currently hit for was like 1.4 million and some change. How can you compare 1.4 million damage to 5, 6, 7, 8 million damage that other classes are doing? We do a lot of DOT damage. Creeping Death now critically strikes. We're slowly getting there, but we're not at the finish line yet, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you smash a like on it. It really helps the YouTube algorithm, and I would appreciate your face a lot. Again, leave me comments below if you actively are still playing a Warlock. I know we've lost a large part of the Warlock community over the past several years. Hopefully you're still playing a Warlock. I've played one for 5 years on Xbox. So, thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm sorry for the disruptions we had in this video. You can see the toxicity from that individual and his following. Don't worry though. He's a cryptic partner creator. He's in the program, boys. Yeah. Shout out to him. I'll see you guys real soon.